You can spend months cultivating a vegetable garden, only to find it stripped entirely bare. A single hungry groundhog or rabbit will eat an entire bed of leafy greens, right down to the stems, in a matter of hours. To stop this destruction, we are going to build an impenetrable dual defense perimeter. By combining physical exclusion with targeted habitat modification, we can block access from above and below the soil. As you can see in this layout, you need 4 primary components for this build: a sturdy spade, heavy-duty wire snips, rolls of galvanized hardware cloth, and a specific selection of potted deterrent plants. Pairing a heavy-gauge steel barrier with a border of unpalatable plants eliminates the constant need to reapply chemical repellents or check live traps. It creates a permanent, low-maintenance shield. Step 1 begins right at the garden edge. A secure perimeter relies entirely on selecting a rigid material that determined pests cannot chew through. Look closely at this comparison. On the left, plastic netting and thin chicken wire easily warp and break under pressure from a squirrel or rat. On the right, thick, galvanized steel hardware cloth holds its structure and resists sharp teeth. You must match the opening size of your mesh to your specific pest. To block small rodents like chipmunks, use a tight mesh with 6 to 12 millimeter openings. For larger animals like rabbits, a 2.5 millimeter gauge provides the necessary strength. Take your spade and dig a continuous trench around the entire garden border to a depth of 15 to 30 centimeters. Do not dig a narrow vertical slit. The trench needs a flat, open bottom that is wide enough to let the base of the mesh lay entirely flat against the soil. Using heavy-gauge steel stops the surface level chewing, while digging down 30 centimeters cuts off the shallow access routes used by burrowing pests. To fully secure the underground section, you must bend the bottom 15 centimeters of the mesh outward at a 90-degree angle. This technique creates an L-footer. This cross-section shows the main fence descending vertically, then bending horizontally outward from the bed. An animal instinctively digs straight down, hits the metal shelf, and gives up. Compact the dirt back into the trench, locking the shelf permanently into the earth. Now secure the vertical portion of the hardware cloth to your garden posts. The above-ground fence must stand at least 60 to 90 centimeters high to block low-jumping animals. By placing a flat shelf directly in their downward path, the L-footer uses the animal's own digging instincts against it, making subterranean entry geometrically impossible. With the trench filled and the mesh secured, shift your attention to the exterior side of the new fence. Here, we plant a biological deterrent zone. Start by planting a continuous outer ring using aromatic species from the mint family, like mountain mint, alongside alliums such as onions and garlic. Rabbits and squirrels rely heavily on smell to find food. The strong, concentrated oils in these aromatic plants overload their sensitive olfactory systems, causing them to turn back. This chart highlights 3 species to mix into that border: Daffodils, bleeding heart, and Monkshood. Mammals instinctively avoid these plants because their foliage is toxic. Fill any remaining gaps in the soil with plants that have rough or fuzzy textures, like black-eyed Susans or prickly pear cactus. These are physically abrasive and uncomfortable for small animals to navigate. The strong scents confuse their noses, the toxins remove the food incentive, and rough textures irritate their skin. This layered botanical border actively repels pests before they ever test the hardware cloth. Here is the completed defense system in action. A secure metallic perimeter nested within a dense, blooming border. The rigid hardware cloth stops chewers, the buried L-footer blocks diggers, and toxic aromatics repel grazers. The one remaining vulnerability to this static setup is an agile climber, like a raccoon or a squirrel, which can scale a rigid fence. To secure the airspace and stop climbers, string a single strand of electrified wire 15 to 20 centimeters from the very top of the mesh. Integrating a deep physical barrier with strategic botany creates an autonomous fortress. Your garden protects itself, shifting your focus away from fighting nature and onto enjoying the harvest.